Good morning. This is July 4th, 2020. It's about 6 o'clock in the morning. I've been out here for 15 or 20 minutes and I'm making this video for any future buyer of my properties. I'm making the video for the HOA. I'm making the video for the city of Buckeye Civil Engineering, and I'm making it for anybody who's thinking about buying a house in a planned community in Arizona. This is a caveat, okay? I'm going to review here. This is for Carol because I'm expecting a letter from a lawyer any day now because I haven't responded in writing to why my yard is all tore up. I want to remind you, this is the off season, okay? This isn't the busy season. Now, what you're looking at is this blue tarp. I'll get over here. First of all, this has been my workout room during the COVID-19. It's my gym. This is where I go to work out. This is where I'm conditioning my body. Okay, I've been sifting rock from those two cement enclosures for the air conditioning unit. From there, all the way down through here. And we'll turn the camera around, but as I've told you in other videos, this house was built and permitted to be built out of compliance by 3 inches as far as the finished floor elevation. It's written in stone on the front of the document for the grading. The master grading document for the community has every lot's finished floor elevation in it, written in stone. And there's a note on the front page that you cannot go below the minimum set for each lot. Well, they went below the minimum. This house is 3 inches low. I've been pushing a rock uphill. I've tried to talk to anybody in Buckeye about engineering about this, and nobody will talk to me. When I tell them my name down on the 2nd floor in Town Hall, nobody's home. So I'm not getting any help. I've had to do this on my own. But this finished floor and that finished floor are supposed to be the same elevation. They're not. They were permitted out of compliance with the master document. The master document. The permit that was given to lower this 3 inches was something that was done in disagreement with the master document. Now, which takes precedent here? We have all these documents. We have a local document that allowed them to depart from the finished floor elevation by 3 inches, thus affecting the sewer pipes and affecting lot drainage. This is why I have to make this video right now, because of the lot drainage. I've been pushing this rock uphill now ever since I found out in the 100-year storm. And I've sent video, and I'm going to send more video of how this lot reacted on March 13th of this year when we had that downpour. We had a cloudburst, a deluge that lasted about 30 minutes, 20-30 minutes. And this yard was flooded. So and the reason it's flooded is because this is temporary, that sand I'm sculpting. This is my little sandbox, like a kid. I've got my own sandbox to play with. You see this depression where that white pipe is? There's a depression there where water hangs. It was engineered to be there. Now, it used to sit up against, the water used to be a 4-foot lake up against this foundation until 6 years ago. 6 years ago, on my hands and knees, I put loose sand up against that foundation. I had to sculpt a trough so the water would go into the middle. Well, last year, now this blue tarp, I want to explain. You keep sending me letters as to what I'm doing. Because this house is deficient by 3 inches, I have trouble getting the water off the lot to the street and both to the golf course. This blue tarp I've been spending 2 weeks off and on, a couple hours in the day, someday, and I had the back problems. I got right up to where the tarp is now. I was going gangbusters, and what happened was my back went out for about a week. It was so tender I had trouble getting in and out of bed and out of the chair. Well, it's all back. And I've been working, like I said, I started this at 5:30 in the morning on the 4th of July 2020. Happy Independence Day, right? This is something I got to do because of what was done to me 15 years ago. When the local authorities out here decided to depart from the master plan as far as the elevation of my house, I was drafted. This is conscription. They drafted me to be a place to park water in a storm until the water used to just absorb. I'd have lakes and the water was landlocked. I couldn't get out. It just kept soaking underneath. You'd think it was all gone and all the water was gone. Come out early in the morning. Come out early in the morning and it's all mud up against there because the water is still under the foundation. Now, I want to show you, I'm at the end. I'm just about, I hope by today, that rock pile, I've consolidated everything down. This blue tarp is a year old. It's a year old. When I pull it back for the first time, I'm going to have the camera, when I pull it back, and you're going to see underneath an old tar paper plastic condom that I put on it 6 years ago. Right there. That runs from house to house. That's tar paper over 6 mil plastic. I thought it was a good idea to keep the water from getting under the house because I have a drainage problem. And then last year I had to do some more landscaping on the golf course side of the house, and I only needed about a ton of top rock. But I couldn't buy just a ton of top rock. I had to buy 3 tons. And when it was delivered, there was 3 ton delivered, but a ton of it was sand, a ton of it was pea gravel, and a ton of it was actually drainage rock, top rock. And when the guy delivered it, instead of spreading it along my sidewalk, he dropped it all in one thing so that about 3/4 of the street was blocked by this thing of, I couldn't believe it. This is like the 4th time I've had rock delivered, and usually they'll lift their bucket and they'll drive, tip a little, drop a little, drive, drop a little, drive. That way the street is safe. This guy dropped it in one place, and the load was filled with sand. To get it off the street by myself, I pulled all this rock back, the top rock that was already there over the plastic, and I put this blue down. And just to get it off the street, I started putting this mix that came from the local rock supplier. That mix went down over this blue tarp, and it's filled with sand. So what I've been doing is separating. Some people have a vegetable garden. I got a rock garden. See that rock right there? That rock's been processed. It won't go through that 1/2 inch grid right there. This is my homegrown, homemade soil sifter. So that's processed rock. I've got time, labor, money into processing that. What's left over is going to go through another sifter. It's going to go through a 1/4 inch grid sifter to get the pebbles out of there and separate the sand. I've got sand. I've got to sculpt all this. I'm going to get my water levels out here, and I'm going to start striking lines and doing a survey, topographical survey, and find out how I can get the water most efficiently to the street. I don't want to come out here in a rainstorm and see a lake sitting where those two the carts are. Where the wheelbarrow and the cart was, we get a huge lake there. It isn't supposed to be there. And the reason it's there is the elevation was dropped here 3 inches. I've been defeated by 3 inches trying to get water off my lot. Okay? And I will tell you when I deliver this, or I'll send it to you in an email. When I check to see if you're looking at my YouTubes, I can tell if anybody's watched them, and obviously nobody is going to watch these YouTubes. They're going public. They're going public as Sundance HOA. Also, I can put on YouTube all the dialogue, all the emails, all the letters, how I got kicked out of the HOA. All that stuff can go on YouTube. And it'll be for the public to decide whether I'm a crazy old ex-Marine or do I have merit. In this time of civil disobedience and everybody wanting to get civil rights, I think I have a civil right to use track day with my golf cart if I had one. I won't buy a golf cart. I'm not going to support the golf cart industry here. The industry that sells golf carts, I'm not going to support it. Okay? You guys are in with the thugs that are running this golf course. Track day is supposed to be open to golf carts. It's 40 feet from my house. All I have to do is go down 40 feet from my driveway and I should be able to enter track day with a golf cart. I can't. I have to go out to Sundance Parkway. Go down Sundance Parkway a couple hundred yards and then get on at the 7th tee box. Okay? I think I have a right to ask, where did our golf cart access go? How come we don't have an emergency vehicle, emergency fire, emergency medical rescue? You couldn't even get a station wagon. If you had a small SUV that was emergency, that had a defibrillator and some oxygen and stuff like that, you couldn't even get it in here. If our portals were shut down, if we had a mess out on Sundance Parkway, I see trucks about once a month drive in front of my house and past the women's tee box on the 6th tee, and they set up on the 6th tee for a hole-in-one contest. When I see those trucks go by, I see emergency vehicles that are not allowed to go up track day and rescue anybody who's in any kind of harm's way, whether it's a stroke, get hit by a golf ball, heart attack, a fall, anything, an auto accident, even an auto accident within the community, they wouldn't be able to get in here. All right? That's an access easement and it's a drain, but it doesn't drain. It's a retention basin. It has a threshold at the end. That's why you see a lake when it's raining. That's why you see a lake where track day is. There isn't supposed to be a lake. So I'm going to get this off to you. Please understand. I'm going to start this video again when I uncover this. I've been waiting to uncover that blue tarp because I wanted to wait until it's until it's all ready to be peeled back. All I have left is this rock right here. All I have is that pile of rock, and I can peel it back. I can salvage it. I'm going to rinse it off, salvage it, fold it up, and there's plastic underneath. But I'll have the video camera running when this happens. This is a continuation of the film I started earlier. You can see the blue tarp. I spent about 2 weeks off and on in the morning working out here, getting that uncovered. It had a substantial amount of rock that had to be taken off it, and that rock had to be sifted. So you're looking at it's ready to come up, and I'm going to video it, me pulling it up, and then I'm going to show you. But the blue tarp is a year old. I put that down last year when I ordered rock, and I got so much of it I had to put it somewhere. So I threw a tarp down and I put it down. But the last storm we had showed the deficiency of my lot as far as drainage, and I also had a water leak. I had 3 water leaks, in fact, and when you have a water leak, you'll never see it covered with plastic. So this type of deal that I did, you're going to have the tarp that was put down last year, and when I pull that back, there's going to be a 6-year-old combination of a 6 mil plastic covered with tar paper. Again, an attempt to put a condom on my lot because of the deficiency of the floor elevation and the lot drainage. But I'm going to start pulling it back now. Underneath it, you're going to see a lot of plastic, and I'll take the camera up and we'll look at it when I'm done. But right now, I'm going to zoom in on me taking that. I'll zoom in a little bit if I have to. There we go. Now I'm just going to peel that back, pull it back, and uncover it. And you're going to see underneath more plastic and tar paper. Okay, this tar paper and plastic is 6 years old. I did all this sculpting 6 years ago when I packed dirt up against this foundation. I used to have a lot of clearance between the stucco and the dirt. I had to fill all that in with fine sand that I would wet down, and then with a tamper I would tamper it down. But I sculpted a trough that wasn't there before. Everything just went up against the house and set against it. So what I had to do was build up that whole section along that wall so the water would flow to the middle between the houses instead of up against the house. But as you can see, this plastic right here I thought was a good idea until you get the water leak. Now, I'm doing this by myself. I have absolutely no engineering help from the HOA or the town of Buckeye. I don't have the financial legs to go get a lawyer and have it done to sue for help or sue for remedy. I'm trying to remedy it myself. But I've got sand in my saddle. They handicapped my lot. They sabotaged my lot. They conscripted my lot. I got drafted. I got drafted because I was from out of town. They have racism here in Buckeye. They check your birth certificate. If you ain't born and raised in Buckeye, then you are a slave to be harvested and to put a collar on. I've had a collar around my neck now for 16 years with the floor elevation of this house, and I can't sell it. I can't sell it because no realtor wants to put on paper that the house was built wrong. Also, they don't want to admit that the neighborhood got scammed 17 years ago when Tract A became private. When they filled in Tract A and made it a private, added it to 2 private lots, and they stole the tee box, the ladies' tee box. What can I say? I'm not getting any help here. I have to do this on my own, and if you think I'm going to have this done in 2 weeks, I plan on coming out here with water levels and, first of all, surveying everything between the 2 houses and designing a trench that will end up down there behind where that post is, that telephone utility post is. I want everything to end up there, flowing evenly. I don't want it pooled here. When I send you the video, I had a lake here the last time we had a big storm. I don't need that. And I'm not going to ever put plastic down again because you can't tell where the water leaks are. As you can see, it's damp under there now. When I pull this back and when the water comes on later, I might have a little leak there that I'm going to have to fix. Over here it's damp. Okay? All of this has to be cleared back from the sidewalk right there, the entrance. All this has to be cleared back. I plan on clearing back all the way to the road and resculpting everything. And I'm going to get really good landscape fabric and put it down. And then I'm going to put down just straight rock, drainage rock, top rock. No pebbles, no sand. And it's going to be laid down over a surface that's been sculpted to drain down to there. Focused on draining, not draining to here and forming a lake. Okay? So please, I'm going to make this public. If you don't want to watch it, and the HOA won't admit to watching it because they don't want to know. If they don't know about this, then they can say, we didn't know. We didn't know. You'd be like President Trump. I didn't know. Nobody told me. Okay? Well, this is, I'm telling you, this is in the briefing this morning. Okay? I'm going to be doing this all summer in the heat for the 3rd time in a row. For the 3rd time in 6 years, I got to redo this again. Can you imagine one person? I'm not going to be sailing. I'm not going to be doing other things. This is going to be my project. And when I'm done with this, I got 2 backyards I got to start in the same thing. Improving the drainage. Thank you for listening. I hope you take this serious. Okay, I want to show you how damp that dirt is underneath. When I pulled up that plastic had condensation all under the bottom of it. Now, I want to get this filmed to show you the dampness that's in the soil. I may have a water leak somewhere, maybe going to that plant. The water line runs right through there. It might be leaking under that plastic. I plan on pulling this plastic back. All this is going to get stripped to the sidewalk and the street. Alright? I have to re-engineer this for drainage. You either understand or you don't. You can keep sending letters. I'll keep sending videos. But sooner or later this has got to play out in court. One way or another. Thank you for watching.